My face got a little red. What can I say?
You're getting a clear
Anyway, honestly, chat, I blame DSA LA. I hooked up with them. Tried to get the various lay of the land of different socialist groups in LA. And I stood in line for like coffee talking to somebody for like an hour because there was one coffee truck for like, 50,000 fucking people. And there was absolutely no shade. And I think that's where I got cooked. But it is what it is. What was up with the dude who yelled on Hassan's stream yesterday? Oh, I mean, that's just the thing about being a left-winger on Twitch or any place where you have a lot of people watching you or talking about you is you can kind of examine stuff psychologically. Like, I want to say this very, very clearly. There is no major issue where Hassan and I fundamentally like disagree. Like, if you like Hassan, you have to like me if you only care about politics, right? If you don't like me, but you like Hassan, it's because of something non-political. There's not really much political room between us. Like, maybe we have some slight disagreements here and there, but we're largely substantively the same on anything important. So if you dislike me, you must hate Hassan. Like, that's literally the facts. Now, if you hate me and you don't hate Hassan, then that's just weird. That's parasocial shit, because there's no way that you could do that politically. You know what I mean? Like, there's not enough daylight between us. Now, I'm sure there's some slight disagreements, right? Or maybe we have a slight disagreement on this issue or that issue, right? Like, he was probably more pro Kamala Harris than I was, right? Like I said, I did not vote for Kamala Harris. He did. So, like, if anything, he's slightly more to the right of me. Not very much, but I respect why, like, I understand why he did, right? Donald Trump is a disaster. There's no doubt about that. And he's making everything worse. But on the issues, you can't dislike me because of politics, right? So it is a little bit odd. So whenever somebody has like a schizo freak out, whether it's in person or in some other place, but they market themselves as like a fan of Hassan, I find it really odd. I just find it really odd. Not a fan because you're not brolic enough. I mean, sure. He didn't say he voted for her. I thought he voted on stream. Did Hassan vote on stream? Did he vote for her when he voted on stream? Okay, there you go. I mean, I didn't see that entire stream, but I'm pretty sure he voted for Kamala Harris. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy to be corrected because I think voting for her was the wrong decision. He voted on stream, but he didn't say for who for president. Oh. Did you purposely dress like the Enzo character that Vio made of you? Yes. Actually, I did because I thought it would be funny. And it was probably a little bit warm for that, but I didn't. It's fine. I'm pretty good at maintaining homeostasis. Does it matter if he did or didn't? Yes. 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 That was only my. It actually doesn't even matter. It actually doesn't matter. If Hassan, I thought he voted for it, but maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm misled. Maybe I'm misremembering. Who gives a shit? I actually don't even care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm pretty sure when we voted with Hassan, we skipped voting for president. Okay. I honestly don't even matter. It doesn't matter. This is you have plenty of aura, Mike. This is your black chatter who got aired out by his mom. Thank you for being so wonderful and making this beautiful. Oh yeah, BG Generic, what's up? I met BG Generic as one of the people we met. I remember you because you brought your mom. And your mom, you said your mom was like a MSNBC lib. You're putting your mom on the defensive. Don't put your mom on the defensive so much. Okay? Let your mom breathe. You know, listen, I understand the way your mom thinks because we have to make our way in the world. This is what people that are a little bit younger don't understand, because you still have the safety net of your parents. You still have the safety net of your, you know, family, and you still have those elders that are there for you, right? And so when your mom is like, we have to be practical with who we support, that has a long tradition in every sort of marginalized community. So what you need to do, so your mom seems to be a practical woman to me. You have to show her practically what we're going to do and how it's going to improve her life. And most importantly, that it's what the people want, and it's what will win. You know, like that is, I think that's the main difference between you and your mom is you are definitely more comfortable risking things, and she's got a lot of responsibilities. So you got to respect your elders, but also don't let them bully you. It's a balance. It's a balance. My mom is ultra MAGA and voted for Trump 3 times in a row. We are so cooked. I've tried to put her on the socialist theory, but it ain't gonna work. My mom used to be a Republican politician, and now she's a proud Bernie supporter. I want you to understand that people can change. It's about removing people from the toxic environment and giving them an alternative. And so, you know, that's one of the proudest things you know, of my life is how I have converted right-leaning people in my family. Not on everything. They still have bad takes from time to time. And you're not going to convert everyone. But I am a white guy. And every white family has weirdo conservatives in it. That's what being white means. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've changed the political views of my right-leaning family as much as I have. This clip doesn't really capture what it was like seeing this in person, but Hassan was getting mobbed by like 20 fans.
You guys, hell yeah! Thanks for watching, guys.
This was the end of the. Was this the end when everybody was leaving?
Oh, turn around. So sorry. We're gonna go like this. Fuck it. Send it, dude. Hell yeah! I love you, bro.
Nice to meet you. All right, quick.
Thank you.
Hey, what up?
How's it going? Big fan.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to see you. Free Luigi.
Free Luigi.
Thanks, man.
Nice to meet you guys.
So my overall feeling about the rally is there's a right answer and a wrong answer for the rally in LA. The right answer is this is an organizing opportunity. This is about showing the strength of our views. I think a lot of people get so wrapped up in their public persona and what they are seen to believe. And like for me, like for example, I have talked about, when I talk about immigration, right? I try to talk about immigration from the perspective of what is actually happening in immigration and analyze immigration. Not talk about immigration from the perspective of somebody trying to be provocative on Twitter, but rather it is families walking thousands of miles to come to this country. Why are they doing that? And the one thing I want you to do is guard against being a Western chauvinist and being a liberal racist. And you know what a lot of liberals do? A lot of liberals posture themselves as being pro-immigration, But inside that posturing is an immense American first exceptionalist chauvinism where they think America is, I live in the greatest country in the world. Everybody wants to come here. And the answer is America isn't the greatest country in the world, and people don't want to move here. Okay? People come here for a variety of reasons, typically the biggest ones being escaping some sort of economic depression or for economic reasons, right? They need to support their family. The United States is, for example, sanctioning Venezuela and destroying its economy, sanctioning Cuba and destroying its economy. Most people want to live where their friends and family are, where they speak the language and they're accustomed to the culture. They don't want to walk barefoot 2,000 fucking miles to come to this country. Now, if they come to this country, when people do come to this country, they should have all the same rights as any other human being. But, you know, the reason why we have these economic dislocations is American neoliberal imperialist foreign policy. We have uneven development. As a Westerner, you shouldn't be trying to be like, yes, we should have millions of people walking barefoot across Mexico to come to the United States. You should be like, we should stop sanctioning that country. We should give that country economic development support so that we have even development across the world. And we don't have regions where people are fucking, you know, living in luxury in other places where they're starving to death. That is a left-wing policy. And I think a lot of people, whenever you analyze something, I think a lot of people confuse that with you supporting it. And this is the most annoying thing I have ever experienced in politics, and something that I didn't expect, but yet is probably the most effective counter argument, and I don't know why, and it makes me incredibly fucking brain broken, is that analyzing something doesn't mean I support the thing or think it's good. Jesus fucking Christ. And then the other thing is the Bernie Sanders rally. I was there. I met a lot of chatters. Welcome in. It was pretty sweet. We did an impromptu thing. I think there was like 25 or 30 of you there, which was pretty cool.
I love you, bro. That's nice to meet you.
I love you, bro.
Nice to meet you.
I'm sure there were more of you there. I just didn't meet. Your hair looked great in the fit, dude. I mean, that's just how I look, bro. I look better in person than I do on stream, which is actually bad. By the way, that's actually bad. I need to take advantage of, like, you know, doing your camera correctly. Headphones don't suit my hair. It's very true. I actually agree with you very much. That's like my number one thing I need to do. I think I don't like these headphones. I don't like wearing headphones, period. So that's what I need to change. You're welcome. Thank Adnair. You need the yellow Mexican tit they use in movies. So true. What was Mike saying to the libs?
Oh, Michael from Pennsylvania. What's good? Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm talking to all these
libs. What?
I'm talking to all these libs here.
Nice.
I was absolutely roasting these libs. I was absolutely ripping them a new asshole. I'm being honest. I'm going to be absolutely honest. And these are like liberal content creators. This is like the VIP section, chat is where we're at. And I turned down the Bernie AOC thing. Like I didn't do my shit correctly, but it's fine. I turned it down and I went organizing instead. And just signed a bunch of people up for DSA and other things. I didn't go to go into the private behind the thing to take a selfie with AOC. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I probably should have gone and said something to them, but I found it so contemptible in the moment. I was just like watching all these like influencers, these lib influencers go like, I can wait to take a selfie with AOC. I was just like, I was so viscerally disgusted. I was like, I am not that guy. So I like walked away, like went and organized people. But in hindsight, I probably should have gone and just said something to AOC or Bernie. Like what I wanted to say to Bernie is I thought they did a really good job on the rally overall. Like my reaction just as like a political commentator and consultant and like from the side of like speaking to people, I thought it was good, except for one part was so out of place. And the entire fucking 50,000 people, it felt like, maybe it was 40,000, 50 or 40,000, somewhere in that range, were dead silent. And it's when Bernie said of course Israel has the right to defend itself against terrorists. Dead fucking silent. I was like, why do you don't even say it? I don't remember I listened to AOC's speech as well. I don't think she said anything like that. Did she? Can someone correct me? Did she say something like that and I just missed it? Just shut the fuck up about it. Do what AOC did. Shut the fuck up. Say it's a genocide. Vote. Say that you want to stop giving weapons and money to Benjamin Netanyahu and shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like his take on Israel at this point, like, you know, he's the best senator on Israel, which is a fact, which I think a lot of people don't like to reckon with, but is a fact. Bernie Sanders is the best senator on Israel, and he sucks on it. He's basically like, I've been involved in politics for a long time, so I know these different shades of fucking Palestinian support or non-Palestinian support. But his take is so fucking bad on Israel. Even though it's by far and away the best. Like the other senators are like, yes, genocide the Palestinians. Yes, here's infinite money. And I feel like a lot of people attach their hopes and dreams to Bernie Sanders, but just from a political analysis perspective, nobody is like, I was against Bernie Sanders, but then he said Israel had the right to defend itself against terrorists, and I'm now on board. Like that's a set of zero people. Nobody likes that shit. Like, it just doesn't work. You're not winning over anybody. Did you see the arson against Josh Shapiro? I don't care. I don't care. So, listen, the left can at the same time say that Bernie and AOC's rallies are good and have critiques. Seeing tens of thousands of people rally around leftist populism is promising. However, it's also that Bernie and AOC do not have the bravery or political will to do what's needed. I actually think Brett is right. I do think Brett, I don't know about AOC. I think AOC has been overall braver than Bernie on most things. So I don't agree with him on that. I think she's not perfect by any means, but I think she has been better on this than Bernie has. And so I think it's very interesting how people like to rope in AOC as having the same position as Bernie when Bernie is clearly worse. You know what I mean? Like Bernie is clear. The only person who's like accurate is the squirrel. And like the thing about the squirrel is I agree with the squirrel. I really do. But my take is this. What's going on in Gaza would not be going on but for the fact that Joe Biden was president. Joe Biden is a genocidal Zionist. Donald Trump is a genocidal Zionist. Any other I think if Barack Obama had been president, it wouldn't have happened. Like, that's how bad this shit is. Like, you picked You picked the most genocidal freak Zionists of all time. Like, there's never been a more genocidal president than Joe Biden. There's been political reports talking about how the Israelis have been surprised at how much the U.S. has let us do. And the reality is, it's because it's an extreme position. Even in Israel, it's like the right-wing 40% of Israel position is what we're pursuing. I'm not even trying to say that there's any good Israeli left. There isn't. But what I'm trying to say is this is the most extreme Israelis winning. And that's what's getting supported by both parties right now. And like, the problem that we have overall is regular normie people they look at Bernie Sanders and AOC. They see that they're like, we need, stop giving weapons to Israel. They're committing war crimes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for the discourse in this country, that is way to the left of the typical discourse we get on Israel. Now, if you are somebody who's a leftist online and you're in the political space, it's wholly insufficient. And when Bernie Sanders said, Israel has a right to defend itself against terrorism, of course, or whatever the fuck he said. Let me pull up the speech. I want to show you that it was actually dead fucking silent. It was like, normally people were like cheering. People were cheering through all sorts of stuff. Oh, he was also at Coachella, apparently.
Look at this insanely large crowd in downtown Los Angeles today, all to hear a message delivered by Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We look at this news report.
Top story tonight. Welcome to the Fox 7
Our top
Weekend
story
News at
tonight.
5. Their supporters called it a revolution. Thousands of them were there for hours in the heat to be part of this national movement that's picking up steam. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live at Gloria Molina Grand Park right across from City Hall. Matthew, what can you tell us about this event?
Well, it was massive and it was hot, as you mentioned. Right now they're cleaning up, but I got to tell you, these crowds, they stretched all the way to City Hall, up on the stairs, and then they wrapped all the way as far as the eye could see to the south. It's hard to believe it's not
AOC
a presidential...
literally apologized for talking to Corbyn because of the anti-Semitism smears. She's a coward or an op. I agree with you on that. Actually, I don't think she's an op. I think that radlibs, like, for example, this is a perfect example. I was called a white nativist, and there are people in certain splinter discords and places who are like, Mike is so he's a white racist or whatever, and it's like, huh? That's the same energy as people who call Corbyn anti-Semitic. And I don't think you should fall for those rad libs woke of the day. We have a new email. We have a new emote. We have a new emo chat for woke of the day. WOTD. And centrists and Zionists and bad faith corporate Dems have weaponized, social justice terminology and identity politics to attack the actual left. And the thing is, I care about that. I care about fighting for immigrants. I care about anti-Zionism. I care about fighting racism and misogyny and transphobia. And I have spent my career 5-6 years before I ever streamed. I was on the streets with a group called Make the Road, protesting for people. I was in Black Lives Matters marches in 2014, not 2020. Now, this is not to say that therefore makes me not a white man or makes me like some sort of like genius or something. It's just that if you think that yelling at me is going to result in any kind of positive thing, instead of just coming to me and talking to me like a normal human being, because I am one of the most prominent left wingers in this space, you're insane. I instantly went like, this guy got shit on in Mike's chat or social media and holding a grudge since. Here's what I feel bad about. Whenever I see stuff like the Mike from PP guy, or you know, some splinter Discord or anything. I always feel bad for that person. This is why I'm a left-winger, chat. I lead with empathy. Even though I advocate more for like a hard edge shit, when I just see stuff like that, my first reaction is that person's in a lot of pain, man. That person's in a lot of pain. And maybe in a moment of vulnerability, they were in my chat and they care a lot about the things I care about. And I said something in a way that they interpreted a certain type of way, or I was mean and rejective of them, which happens. Like sometimes when Hassan and I yell at chatters or we ban a chatter, like they had a lot of like community with us. I don't like to ban people for this exact reason. Even though people have bad takes from time to time, I don't like to ban people who are good-hearted, because I understand that for a lot of people, being part of this community and Hassan's community or other left-wing communities is a very important lifeline of hope and belonging for them. So I'm not trying to like reject and exile people, and I take that very seriously. And I feel like I don't know what happened with this guy. I probably was mean to him or said something thoughtlessly or was in a bad mood. Who knows? I mean, I'm human. It's going to happen, right? And it triggered something. And he was probably in a vulnerable spot in his life. And he saw me or Hassan or this larger left-wing Twitch space as a place where his views can be represented. And like, I just felt bad for the guy. You know, I just felt bad for the guy. You know, I'm not even mad. Like, if you think that I have like certain reactionary takes or whatever, you're just wrong. But it's okay. Like, I understand that sometimes I advocate for things that isn't. I march to the beat of my own drum. I don't chase TikTok or Twitter, you know, trends. I'm not getting my takes from Twitter. I make my takes. And then whatever's happening on Twitter is what's happening on Twitter. Sometimes I'm going against the grain. Like, for example, I don't think we should throw Bernie or AOC out, even though I disagree with them on a lot of shit, because I recognize this is where normie people are at. Normie people are at these rallies. Normie people, they, you know, it's on Fox 11, top story. These are politicians that invite me to the VIP section. That does actually mean something, not because it's me, but because what I say. I say don't vote for Kamala Harris because she's a genocidal fucking supporter, and they're working with people like me. You should take notice of that. I think a lot of people don't understand the concept of dog whistling. They don't understand the concept of what, you know who wouldn't agree to bring me to any of those things? A Democrat. And I think a lot of people, you know, you see Bernie and AOC especially making bad takes, and Bernie has some really bad takes. But for regular people, they represent the left. And so it's like, while I will continue to policy disagree with them and argue against them, these are still our entree to the masses. This is still the only group of people that say we're socialists, we're left-wingers, and actually win power. You have to have some sort of, one of the biggest problems, like, for example, there was that chatter who brought his mom. And you have to have some sort of practicality, because people are out there living their lives, scraping by. What if they depend on Head Start? What if they depend on food stamps? What if they depend on Medicaid? If you are some sort of person that has no chance of winning and no chance of affecting anything, you may have the purest, most correct position possible, but the masses are not going to be with you. If you want the masses with you, you have to take them through the period of frustrated reform. I want AOC and Bernie Sanders to win. Why do I want them to win? Because there's one of two outcomes. One, they're going to actually get a bunch of concessions and everybody's life is going to be slightly better. And that's going to give us more power and more influence. Or two, they're going to be dirty dicked. They're going to be betrayed. They're going to be stabbed in the back. They're going to be dealt with in some other way. And everybody's going to see how this system is fucking more and more rigged, and more people are going to reject it. And actually, that's what you're seeing. This was Bernie Sanders' biggest ever rally, as far as I understand. That's happening because of a period of frustrated reform. Now there is there's other major issues like the genocide, and I am a non-compromiser on the genocide. I mean, there's no two bones about it. What's your achievable alternative right now? And here's the thing. I have a lot of everybody who criticizes Bernie and AOC, for the most part, I don't even disagree with you. I really don't. But I want to be in these spaces talking to normies, radicalizing them. You know, you're never going to be in a situation where you get this many people together in a room for leftism alone. I mean, Bernie Sanders shows up in LA for 40,000 people. There's 100,000 DSA members. He gets 40,000 people to show up in one city in an odd year in April. It's not a presidential campaign. It's an odd year in April. This is when people should be paying attention to politics. And I think I was talking to DSA, you know, I was organizing with DSA all day because they were the people who reached out to me, so they win. And I think they got 400 members or 300 some members. I think I personally recruited like 20 to 30 of those people, like maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Do you understand that, like, in an organization that has 100,000 people, one event? That's what I don't think I think that's what a lot of online leftists don't understand, is it's like, it's one thing to get people to like your tweet or your TikTok or repost your thing or get in a comment anonymously and agree with you. It's a whole nother thing to organize a massive event and have tens of thousands of people stream onto the streets for you. And I think if you turn your back on that, you're a fucking idiot. I think you're an absolute fucking idiot. And like, that's basically my point of view on it. I think Bernie Sanders' statement on Israel is the dumbest shit. He should just shut the fuck up about it and say, stop giving money to Netanyahu, and leave it at that. Leave it at fucking that. Nobody is like, he didn't say Israel had a right to defend itself. I'm now a Republican. They're all, if you're a Zionist, you're a Republican, or you're voting for a Zionist extremist like Fetterman. There is no winning those people over. They're in a genocidal mania. And I think that this like liberal tendency that Bernie Sanders has, as does every politician in America, you're just wrong on that. You're just wrong on that. How do you suggest DSA chapters in other states reach out to get organizing credentials at the rally? My first thing to do, what I would suggest is you literally reach out to the campaign and you start mailing, and you and they will respond, because again, they support left-wing organizations. You know, at the LA rally, you want some breaking news? You want to hear breaking news? You want to hear some tea? You want some breaking news? You want some tea? The Democratic Party was denied a table, but DSA was given a table. So this is what I'm talking. This is what I mean. Like, a table where they had a large section of so they had like food trucks, and then they had this like they had these organizing. They had an organizer area where like you had, I think there was union organizers, there was More Perfect Union, there was DSA, there was Working Families Party, there was various organizations that had like space within the rally, and they were organizing people. If AOC is going to align with obvious smears, which led to a load of suicides of Labor Party activists, I don't want her supporter anywhere near the left. She's literally the person you don't want near the left. I think she's learned her lesson from then, man. That's the other thing I want to talk about. Like, maybe she didn't. Maybe she's going to be a dumbass on dumb shit. But I feel like I was somebody who was all along talking about Corbyn and the smears. You're speaking to somebody who knows, probably taught you about this shit, unless you're British. Like, this is one of the funniest things that happens to me, is occasionally somebody will come in with like explanation points explaining shit that I've been saying for 5 fucking years to me, as if you're surprising me. As if like, oh man, you're telling me that they did bad smears of anti-Semitism to Jeremy Corbyn in the Labour Party and Zionists? Wow. My first reaction to the UK general election 2019. Jeremy Corbyn was ruthlessly smeared and attacked, and it worked. If you're wondering why the left is anti-Semitic trope is starting up around people like Linda Sarsour, note that the same tactic was successfully used to smear Corbyn's Labour Party in the UK. That's why we must push back on any such false claims. It's almost like I know about this shit, and I've been talking about it for 5 years. And in fact, I was calling it out in September 17th of 2019. I really hope Hassan the Hun asks AOC and Bernie Sanders about the reality of what happened to 2016 and 2020 election in the US and what happened to Corbyn in the UK. Why do they believe a party that is dedicated to defeating Bernie, even if it did party damage, is supportable? Like, you're speaking to the guy who probably told you what to believe. Like, calm down. Like, I know, and I agree with you. Corbyn bears responsibility for not consolidating power and allowing his enemies to run rampant in the party apparatus. That's the main lesson that needs learned. Like, I've been talking about this shit. I completely agree with you. I just want you to know I've also been talking about this for 5 years. I'm British, bro. I was a Labour Party member and I lived through the smears. Exactly. Good. Then you can see that I was supporting you every step of the way. You can see that I was calling it out as bullshit at the time. Anyone who still pretends like Corbyn was some sort of bigot or extremist can never be trusted again. He was slandered as an anti-Semite because he believed in Palestinians' right to life and self-determination. Recent events prove him completely right about everything he said. Don't worry, chatter. I'm aware. I am an internationalist. I pay attention to the left in every country. I mean, I'm okay, let me just say this. I try to pay attention to the left in every country. There's a lot of fucking countries, okay? I do my best to be aware of every left-wing movement. Okay, I try my best to be aware of every left-wing movement. Now, Corbyn was a very low bar and very easy to see, you know, but... Harris is taking advice from the centrists and Labor that rat fucked Corbyn. What are you on about? Oh, I was yelling at people before the election about exactly this issue. Setting everything else aside, this is a completely ridiculous theory of change. The goal is to punish the vice president, said Hassan Abdul Salam, a founder of the Abandon Harris. By the way, I love Abandon Harris. Great group. A group dedicated to her defeat. We are not in a position to win the White House, another speaker, Kashmava Savant, a former member of the Seattle City Council, told about a crowd of 100 inside an Arab American Cultural Center. But we do have a real opportunity to win something historic. We could deny Kamala Harris the state of Michigan, and we fucking did. Good. Obama was literally boys with pro-Palestine, and he completely rooked them. And when he got power, AOC will do the same. I think your theory of change is not correct. I think you're just wrong. I don't think you really understand the difference between Bernie, AOC, and Obama. I don't think you understand, which is okay. It's good to be skeptical, but your type of cynicism is what we call stupid cynicism. There's smart cynicism and there's stupid cynicism. All right. Obama was always part of the machine. Obama was always promoted by the centrist Democrats. They knew he was a neoliberal. Leftists knew he was a neoliberal. In the 90s, famous American leftist Adolph Reed, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania and a famous Marxist, he literally called him out. They knew who he was never a left-winger at any point. Adolph Reed, writing about Obama in 1996. In Chicago, for instance, we've got a foretaste of the new breed of foundation-hatched black communitarian voices. One of them, a smooth Harvard lawyer with impeccable do-good credentials and vacuous to repressive neoliberal politics, has won a state Senate seat on a base mainly in the liberal foundation and development worlds. His fundamentally bootstrap line was softened by a patina of the rhetoric of authentic community, talk about meeting in kitchens, small-scale solutions to social problems, and the predictable elevation of process over program. The point where identity politics converges with old-fashioned middle-class reform in favoring form over substance. I suspect that his ilk is in the wave of the future in U.S. black politics, as in Haiti and wherever else the International Monetary Fund has sway. So far, the black activist response hasn't been up to the challenge. We have to do better. Like this, he was always that guy. You just got tricked. Now, Bernie and AOC have problems, and they are and even if they were to win, they would make compromises and they would do shit I disagreed with. But fundamentally, they are different than somebody like Obama. And when you, in your mind, if you make them the same, you're just giving yourself permission to do nothing and not care. Which, if you don't want to care, don't care. Go fucking grill. Don't make it my problem. If you think AOC and Bernie are fucking worthless and they're never going to do anything and leftism is dead, go fucking grill. Go play a video game. Uninstall Twitch. Stop following. Who gives a fuck? If you want to give up, give up. Don't make it my problem. Don't make it my fucking problem. You're going to miss out. You're going to regret it. But don't make it my fucking problem. A better example would be Andy Bashir. People think he's some leftist, like they thought Obama, but he's just a suit guy. Did I call him a... Who has been calling out Andy Bashir for months? Me. Who was the one who went into fucking Hassan's chat when everybody was like, Andy Bashir is so cool. We love Andy Bashir. And said, fuck Andy Bashir. Who was the only person who went in there and was like, fuck Andy Bashir? He fucking sucks. Who was going in there when Editor Mentum was going, Big Gretch, Big Gretch, Big Gretch, and going, she's a fucking daughter of a Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO. The entire reason she's governor of Michigan is because she's paid for by insurance companies. Who's the one who is calling people? I know how to read people. Sometimes I get it wrong. You know, sometimes people lie. You know, that can happen. But I've used this analogy before. Just because you date someone and they turn out to be like an asshole or a liar, it doesn't mean you never date again. You break up with the scumbag. You say, that person's not right for me. That person's not right for my life. That person was a liar. That person's and you move the fuck on and you go right back out there. Are you giving up on love because you had one bad boyfriend or one bad girlfriend? You don't give up on politics because you had one scumbag politician. Again, the purpose of our movement is to lay the groundwork and prepare for the moment of rupture. I believe that electing Bernie Sanders and AOC would be a point of either we get a lot of reforms, which makes people's lives better and is a W, setting the groundwork for us to grow even stronger, or they're betrayed and there's some sort of reaction that causes a rupture and even more chance for radical change in politics. That is my personal belief. And if you don't agree with me, then okay, I don't think you really have a plan, though. I think Ilhan and Rashida are good. I'm very skeptical. Ilhan is to the right of AOC. Ilhan is to the right of AOC. I know that you don't want to hear this because you're doing identity politics liberalism, but Ilhan Omar is to the right of AOC. I know you don't know this, but it is true. Now, it doesn't mean that Ilhan is bad, because I think saying Ilhan is bad is stupid, but Ilhan is to the right of AOC. It's okay. It's not, she's not a lot to the right of AOC, but she is to the right of AOC. Rashida Tlaib, if you were to ask her who her favorite congresswoman is, it's probably AOC. So don't tell me like, oh, if you ask Summer Lee who her favorite senator or senator is, she's going to say Bernie Sanders. Like, don't tell me politicians that are in Congress who are close personal. It's like when people say like, I hate Mike, but I love Hassan. Hassan and I are bros, man. We're friends. We support each other. Like, there is no tension between us. He agrees with me on most of the shit. Like, you don't know them, bro. You don't know us, bro. Like, you're a parasocial fan, right? Like, and it's the same thing with like, I hate AOC, but I love Rashida Tlaib. Rashida Tlaib loves AOC. What are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? I love zero US politicians. I don't like politicians either. But I know who is closer to me than who isn't. Summer Lee, closer to me. AOC, closer to me than fucking all these other libs that people bring up. What's Ilhan to the right of AOC on? I believe you just won't people believe me if I say that. Oh, God. I don't even, here's the thing. I censor what I say to you because I understand psychologically that people need figureheads who they like and they parasocially attach to. That's just how people are. I don't go after someone thoughtlessly. It's not useful to me to hyper criticize Ilhan Omar. If anything, it'll only hurt me because people will say, white man is criticizing Muslim woman. What's the point? She's one of the most left-wing congresswomen. I like Ilhan Omar. She does some right-wing shit I don't like, but it's in the grand scheme of things very small compared to what every other congressperson is doing. And I just know where she is politically, and she's an ally to me in almost every single fight that's happening right now. So what's the point of me trying to trash her right now? It makes no sense. Me and Hassan's are bros. During stream, he only talks to me. It's only the odd time a troll comes in, he will talk to someone else to yell at them for interrupting our conversation. Yeah, so true. Well, I don't understand Palestine can sort out their social issues after they're liberated, but want to drive AOC and Bernie out today when the left ate shit right now. I mean, here's the thing about AOC and Bernie. If you recognize that AOC and Bernie are not enough, I like you. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. My question is, do you have 10,000 people that will march on the streets with you? Like, if you put up the fucking, if you walked out to your backyard or to your balcony or went to your bedroom window and shot a flare out, would you have an army of people ready to march? And if the answer is you don't, then you ain't shit, bitch! Left-wing politics is supposed to be about the masses. You ain't got any masses, bro! Where's your masses at? Where are your masses at? And if you think that this is an unfair criticism, it's not. It's my criticism of me that I take very seriously, where it's like, okay, I need to, where's my masses at? Where's my vanguard at? Yes, my street is only like 100 people. They will march with me, though. That you're on the right track. It wasn't a left-right thing. I was disgusted by AOC's cowardice. Yes, she AOC's flaw, especially in 2020, which is when in 2019, which I totally agree with you. AOC's flaw is that she lets rad lib shit. Like, she's very sensitive to rad lib bullshit. She's scared of being called like anti-Semitic or, you know, anything like that. She's like one of those people that's always like bodies in spaces, bodies in spaces. And like, that's what I don't like about her. Is like, she kind of kowtows to rad libs. And by the way, it doesn't help. Rad libs are just rad libs. They'll find some other excuse. They'll be like, AOC, she dresses for the male gaze. She hates women. You know, it'll just something like that'll come up. They'll just make shit up. Who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't matter with, you can never win with a rad lib. They'll just make something else up. They'll just make something up. The woke of the day can always come up with something. So you just need to free yourself from fear of the rad lib. And whenever somebody starts rad libbing you, like if somebody comes out there and says Mike is like racist, they're a rad lib idiot. Congratulations, woke of the day. The other thing is, I unironically support China's foreign policy and Belt and Road Initiative. And if you don't, I think you are a fucking dumb, useful idiot for America's foreign policy objectives. The stronger China is internationally, the better. If you disagree with me, you're a liberal and a American Western chauvinist. Now, does that mean that I will never criticize China? Absolutely not. I'll criticize China whenever they fuck up. Like, they had an industrial accident in Africa a few weeks ago. That was fucking horrible. And I expect China to clean up, compensate, and fucking regulate. And make sure that anytime they're doing any kind of development in Africa, that when there's a disaster, they clean it up and they fix it. And they don't do what we do, which is assassinate everybody who protests. I think this goes back to the idea that no matter how correct you are, just being correct is not enough to win over people. They are self-interested. As much as AOC and Bertie are wrong for not speaking out against Israel, they are a net gain as they do speak out against them, though. That's what you don't understand. They do speak out against them. They just don't speak out in the way that I think they should. They do speak out against Israel policy that we have today. This is what you don't understand, okay? We have an Israeli policy. The Israeli policy we have now is support Israel in maximally in foreign policy, in diplomatic, in military aid, in like logistics. We are literally helping Israel do the genocide in Gaza. That is our position today. Israel could not do what they're doing without us being maximally supportive. This isn't just an Israeli genocide. This is an American genocide. Americans are in the IDF. American soldiers and sailors and Marines and airmen and guardians and whatever the fuck are helping kill Palestinians right now. This is an American genocide as well as an Israeli genocide. We are building the bombs and the rockets and the planes and the shells. And we're giving them the GPS coordinates, and Palantir is working to, you know, sniff their cell phones or whatever the fuck. This is an American genocide. Netanyahu is he's a fucking Pennsylvanian. He was in Philadelphia. And what AOC and Bernie Sanders represent, they're not my position. My position would be, you know what my position is on Israel? I'll explain my position on Israel. What we should do as America is we should go to the Security Council and we should get a humanitarian intervention to stop genocide resolution, and we should form an international peacekeeping force, and we should invade Israel, and we should prosecute the arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. We should disarm the IDF, and we should do extensive investigations for war crimes. That's what we should do. That's what is the legally, internationally law recognized under the Genocide Convention. That is what we should do. Now, here's the thing. We don't even need to do that. Nobody had to invade South Africa to end apartheid. Apartheid ended by America stopping protecting South Africa. And once America stopped supporting the South African apartheid state, it fell down immediately. The same thing would happen to Israel, and they know it. The moment the U.S. withdrew their support, we don't even have to invade. The moment we withdrew their support, they don't have the tanks, they don't have the ships, they don't have the shells, they don't have the rockets, they don't have the bombs. The international community in Europe, there is a huge coiled spring of anti-Israel sentiment in Europe that wants to stop their genocide. Europeans are even more opposed to the genocide than Americans are. Except for the possible exceptions of places like Germany and Austria. Because, you know, they see Israel as their like penance for doing the Holocaust. And if Israel's bad, you know, that means that their penance is not good. So they reject that. And it's not about, you know, and the South African regime had nukes. The South African apartheid regime had nukes. You guys know that, right? So the idea that, you know, Israel is, we have to support Israel because X, Y, and Z thing, it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. So what I'm trying to say is, if Bernie Sanders and AOC, their position is, which is withhold aid from Israel, let international law work, that would do the job that ended up winning in South Africa. The United States just needs to become neutral on Israel. Geopolitical analysis. And by the way, if somebody's willing to be neutral on Israel, they're substantively, if they're an American politician, they're substantively saying, end Israel. This is a dog, you know, they're dog whistling you. There's one thing that I admire on the right. The one thing that I admire on the right is that they have an organizing principle, which is never punch right. You don't see a lot of punching right on the right. You don't see a lot of them going like, oh no, Nazis are supporting us. We need to do a struggle session. You know, I'm not saying that we never punch right. We should only punch right. They only punch left. We should only punch right. And a lot of American politics is just everyone punches left. Everyone is always punching left. Never punch left. I want to make this a fucking point. We need to never punch left. This is starting to feel less like political consciousness and like you have a personal grudge against her. Like, no one does disagree with your point. Just how you're conducting yourself. Yeah. I mean, if your point is that you personally have doubts about AOC, welcome to the Central Committee stream, the doubts about AOC stream. This is the eyes wide open stream. This is the adults are in the room. I don't need to lie to you guys and manipulate you. I assume that you have the balls and the gonads and the ovaries and the, you know, gonads is MB, to watch what's happening and go, oh, I'm going to make this decision. Any reason why 720 and 1080 are never available for this mobile stream anymore? Huh? Really? Did something break? I mean, it's all here for me. I mean, it's all here for me. I mean, it's all here for me. I'm kind of stuffy today, huh? Can we punch left to ultras and third worldists? Ultras are not left wing in any substantive way. And Third worldists. Here's my opinion on third worldists. Somebody like Bad and Panada. If they're American third worldists, they're a LARPer. If they're in the third world, they're allowed to punch us. That's the least we could do. That's the least we could do. If you're in America and you're a third worldist, you're a fucking LARPer. If you're in the third world and you're like, Americans are shit, you know, you need to just be like, yeah, kind of true, bro. Kind of true. That's my take on that. Like when Bad and Panada's like, the American left sucks. Yeah, we kind of do. All right. They are a net gain as they bring self-interested Americans into spaces where they support communal politics. Still not good leaders of any movement, though. They're just good mouthpieces. I agree with this, by the way. Always Erect is right. Like my main thing that I have against AOC and Bernie is that there's an old saying. There's a famous old socialist by the name of Cockburn, which luckily I didn't get yesterday because I was wearing jeans. But if I hadn't been wearing jeans, I would have gotten a Cockburn. And he used to ask people, running along the upper wall of the classroom at which I studied sixth form general studies was a series of quotes, being the room of a sociology and religion teacher. Most of related to one of those two subjects, although I don't really remember all that much about them, yet one stands out clearly, even still. Hanging just over the teacher's head were the words of Che Guevara on revolutionary love. I looked it up online. It's pretty much exactly as I remember. At the risk of seeming ridiculous, let me say that a true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a genuine revolutionary lacking this quality. This is 100% how I feel. Reading this reminded me of Alexander Cockburn's question to the interns at The Nation, most famously to Ed Miliband. Is your hate pure? Cockburn would ask them. Cockburn dragged this anecdote out after Miliband became leader of the Labor Party, the implication being that Miliband's answer of, I don't hate anyone, Alex, is a reflection of his politics, says. As Cockburn says, it's all you need to know. English capitalism will be safe in his hands. Is your hate pure? If you say, but I don't hate anyone, Mike, you fucking suck. And you're a bitch-made loser. Revolutionary leaders must have a larger dose of humanity, a large dose of a sense of justice and truth to avoid falling into dogmatic extremes, into cold scholasticism, into isolation from the masses. They must struggle every day so that their love of living humanity is transformed into concrete deeds, into act that will serve as an example, as a mobilizing factor. That's exactly how I feel. I think that withdrawing from Bernie and AOC's rallies and going like, oh, these guys suck, when they are mobilizing the masses of regular people and opening them up to more revolutionary forms of politics, is Bernie and AOC going to do it themselves? No, because that's not their role. Their role is they possess the leftward flank of people who hold power. And if they make space for me, if they make space for Hassan, if they make space for revolutionary leftist organizations in their movement, that is our opportunity to go out and mobilize and organize. And they're doing that. As far as maybe they didn't know they did that. Maybe they fucked up. But stop expecting them to deliver you treats like it's Uber Eats, but for politics. Trump and his team straight up saying they're not bringing back that father who was wrongfully deported right now. Fascist fucks. Do you have a link for that? Anyway, long story short, AOC and Bernie Sanders are far from perfect. I will criticize them every day for being weak and thinking the Democratic Party is redeemable. The Democratic Party is not redeemable. I want to tell you why I have said they should leave the Democratic Party. One, the Democratic Party brings them nothing. Literally nothing. The moment that Bernie or AOC or any kind of left winger wins the Democratic Party, they'll leave the Democratic Party like a snakeskin. The billionaires, the neoliberal elites, they'll leave the Democratic Party. They'll take their millionaire checks. They'll take their positions on the New York Times because they're ideologues, and they'll start the Common Sense Party or the Liberal Party or whatever the fuck else. They'll do the exact thing that they claim they don't want us to do. They'll immediately pour trillions into trying to save neoliberalism as a political valiant, as a political movement. Bernie is collecting votes and handing them over to the DNC. There is no DNC. We don't have elections like that in America. You can only vote for individuals in this country. There is no party. There is no vote for the DNC. There is the vote for Bernie Sanders. There is the vote for AOC. There's the vote for Summer Lee. There's the vote for Ilhan Omar. There's the vote for Andrew Cuomo. There is the vote for Kamala Harris. There is the vote for, Elizabeth Warren. There's no vote for the DNC. There is no vote for the DNC. There's only votes for individual politicians. And you decide whether or not you want to vote for them. And guess what? Bernie and AOC said, guys, Trump is really bad. And guess what? You know what I said? Fuck you. When people say DNC, it's just colloquial for establishment centrist Dems. Let's be charitable. Okay, so what you're really, so why don't you say that? Why don't you say what you really mean instead of being a little bitch about it? Say, Mike, all is lost. The left can't win elections. We're doomed to fail in 2028. The left is not going to win again. Progressive candidates are not going to win. A centrist candidate's going to win. And then Bernie Sanders and AOC are going to say you need to vote for the centrist Democrat over the Republican. And it all is lost and boo-hoo. Why don't you say that? Why don't you just say that? Mike, all is lost. We can't win elections. We're all doomed to fail. Just say that. Like the little be a bitch made fucking loser already. Instead of going, Bernie Sanders and AOC are going to betray us. Say what you mean, which is Bernie Sanders and AOC are not going to win. And then they're going to endorse a centrist Democrat and all is lost and boohoo and our movement sucks and I'll never win and give up and stop having hope or stop arguing for anything. Just say that. I think everybody would be like a little bit more embarrassed for you if you said that. It's 2025, man. It's 2025. Donald Trump has been president for what? Has it even been 100 days? Wow, AI can't even do this. How many days is it? I guess I have to calculate it. Okay, January 20th. How many days? It's 84. Okay, we're not even 100 days into Trump's term, and you're telling me like the left can't win. No progressive left winger can win. Shut the fuck up. So where do you draw the line between pointless leftist infighting and getting rid of established Democrat politicians? Here's my overall take. I think that the Democratic Party is irredeemable. I think it's a net drain on the Bernie Sanders movement. I think that an all-out civil war where we destroy the Democratic Party is the best strategy. It's also a high-risk strategy that politicians are not going to want to take unless there's some sort of provocation. Like Bernie Sanders and AOC are not going to leave their spots and go after the Democratic Party until there's some sort of extreme provocation. And so I'm trying to set up the extreme provocation that makes it clear that the Democratic Party is bad. Now, personally, I think they've already done enough. If I were Bernie, I would have broken from the Democrats in 2016. Personally, that's just me. Okay, but he doesn't. I don't know if it's because he's convinced he's too old or what the fuck else, or he's just a cuck. Who knows? I wish he had done what they had done in Mexico. I look at Mexico with Morena and I say that's the model we should be pursuing. We need to pursue a point where there is a break from the existing center-left party where we're in the driver's seat. And we use alternative media and we use feeding red meat to the left-wing masses and we go for it. That's what I would love to see. But I also understand that what made Morena popular was they had AMLO. AMLO was a major national figure. He led the break. If we just have a bunch of DSA randos going, I'm starting the Workers' Party or the American Socialist Party, could that work? No. I mean, I don't think it could only work if there's people that have some sort of proximity to power. Defendants understand facilitate to mean what the term has long meant in the immigration context, namely actions allowing an alien to enter the United States. Taking all steps to facilitate the return of Obregon Garcia is thus best read as taking all available steps to remove any domestic obstacles that would otherwise impede the alien's ability to return here. Indeed, no other reading of facilitate is tenable or constitutional here. This reading follows directly from the Supreme Court's order at 2, holding any directive must give due regard to the executive branch's exclusive authorities over foreign affairs. It tracks long-standing executive practice, describing the ICE policy directive as the well-established policy of the United States, and it comports with how the federal courts have understood the outer bounds of their own power. On the flip side, reading facilitate as on the flip side? On the flip side? What the fuck are we doing? Are we in the skate park? On the flip side, reading facilitate as requiring something more than domestic measures would not only flout the Supreme Court's order, but also violate the separation of powers. The federal courts have no authority to direct the executive branch to conduct foreign relations in a particular way or engage with the foreign blah. Okay, so my reaction to this is you can actually direct. You can't actually. The laws of the United States do direct the president of the United States. And an example of that would be any money that's going to fund detentions in a foreign country can be impounded, can be enjoined from the judiciary. If you're spending money and sending it to El Salvador, that's a domestic decision. So take away all the money that's flowing to El Salvador because it's clear that it's not in concert with American law. The idea that this is some sort of like, oh no, I guess they're right. If judges want to have any power at all, they have to do something about this. Aren't these rallies just breathing life into the collapsing Democratic Party? Should we be supporting neoliberal politicians to cement the destruction of the Democrats? You're just talking about accelerationism. And I don't think we need to help anything accelerate. I don't think we need to help anything accelerate. I think what we need to do is create institutions. If I'm going to spend my effort doing anything, and I don't like AOC or Bernie Sanders, which is totally normal, you should be trying to build the bones and the sinews of a vanguard that'll be there should you know, should something occur. Is not voting for Kamala acceleration? No. I mean, yes and no. My feeling, it was yes in the sense of, I understand that Donald Trump is going to do a lot of terrible shit, but no in the sense of there isn't a clean division between, let me rephrase. There's not a clean division between accelerationism and making your threats credible. All right. Sometimes, you know, actions have multiple meanings. You know, it depends on what you're talking about. When I decided to vote for PSL, I did it for a couple reasons. One, I want to make my threats credible. When I say I'm going to withhold my vote, I'm going to withhold my fucking vote. All right. I'm not going to say I'm withholding my vote and then give it to you anyway. I want you to understand that when I say do X or else, I mean it. Now, I also want you to know that I don't want to say do X or else too often, right? I don't want to be a person who's constantly saying do X or else, or because then you lose credibility there, right? So I need to be winnable, but I also need to be principled. And what that means is I'm not going to throw that or else all the time, but when I throw out the or else, I mean it. So you better fucking listen. And if you decide you want to ignore it, that's your decision. And I think a lot of people, especially in Michigan, told Kamala Harris, hey, you need to say something about Israel. You need to give us something to sell. This is what I tell libs. You want me to campaign for a Democrat? Give me something to sell. You gave me nothing. And I'm not going to sell bullshit. I'm not going to lie for nothing.